You are not built for a life of comfort. You are not forged to live in ease. Comfort is the soil where weakness grows. It is the slow, warm poison that dulls the blade of your will, where warriors fade into the ghosts of what they might have been. The world will try to tempt you. It will offer you shortcuts, shower you with praise for things you didn't earn, and promise you a peace you never fought for. But you must understand this. Anything that comes to you without a struggle weakens something inside you. And the price for that weakness will one day be paid in blood. Maybe not today, but on the day when it matters most. The true warrior has no appetite for hollow victories. He does not seek out the fights he knows he can win. He seeks the battles that will define him, the ones that pull at the sinews of his soul, that burn away his illusions, that carve truth deep into his bones. Because it is only there in the heart of the fire, in the middle of failure, in the rawest moments of the fight, that he finally meets the only opponent who has ever mattered, himself. Mastery, not victory, is the goal. A blade that is never used grows blunt. A body that never stumbles never learns how to get up. And a man who only makes a move when he is guaranteed to win has already been defeated in his soul. There is no honor in being the strongest person in a room full of the weak. There is no wisdom in climbing a mountain made of sand. You must seek out the path that humbles you, the discipline that shatters your pride, the silence that rings louder than any applause. Because easy wins teach you nothing, and nothing is what you will become if that is all you ever seek. So walk the harder road, fight the tougher war, and when you are knocked to the ground, rise, not because a crowd is cheering, but because your own spirit commands it. Do not fear the long battle, the one that seems to have no end, the one that offers you nothing but scars as a reward. Because it is this war, the war fought without an audience, that truly builds you. Men are starved for recognition. They crave the pat on the back, the trophy, the soft prize at the end of a short sprint. But those are bones thrown to dogs, not swords granted to warriors. You do not need their praise, you need pressure. You do not need comfort, you need a direct confrontation with your own limits, your own laziness, your own lies. There is a voice deep inside you. It whispers, take a break. You've done enough. It is the same voice that will abandon you when the storm hits. It is the same voice that will go silent the moment steel meets steel. You must crush that voice with work, with repetition, with one more rep when your body is shaking, with one more hour of focus when sleep is seducing you, with one more swing of the sword when your hands are raw and bleeding. That is how a warrior is forged. Not through the glory of an easy win, but through the relentless, brutal refusal to surrender to his own desire for ease. Look around you. Most men have already lost, not because they were defeated in battle, but because they simply stopped getting up, because they chose the path of least resistance until their own weakness finally broke them. But not you. You prepare for war while they are celebrating peace. You sharpen your mind while they are numbing it with distraction. You train when no one is watching. So you will not break when everyone is. Let them chase their comforts. Let them rot in the warm glow of cheap satisfaction. You will sharpen your discipline. You will embrace the grind. You will become unbreakable. Victory is not your prize. The path is, because every step, every scar, every sacrifice, it refines you. An anvil does not complain about the hammer. It knows it is being shaped. And so must you. The world will sell you 1,000 illusions, 1,000 ways to cheat the journey. But shortcuts kill the warrior. You might get there faster, but you will arrive hollow, unprepared, and unworthy. There is no honor in an unearned victory, no mastery in a title you didn't bleed for. It is the climb that makes the view from the summit sacred. Cling to what is difficult. Cling to the slow and silent forge of your own becoming. It is not comfort that keeps a blade sharp. It is the friction of the grindstone. Most men dream of having strength, but they run from the weight that builds it. They fantasize about greatness, but fold at the first sign of repetition. They admire discipline in others, yet they betray their own promises to themselves every single morning. Do not be like most men. If a path seems too easy, question it. If a victory comes too quickly, mistrust it. If something is offered to you without effort, walk away. Because you know that this road is not paved with flowers, it is paved with fire. The kind of fire that burns away your weakness until only your essence remains. And that essence must be forged every single day. Not once, not twice, but until your very last breath. The body will break long before the will does, unless the will was never trained in the first place. This world rewards the men who entertain, not the men who endure. But warriors are not performers. They do not seek the spotlight. They seek the storm. They seek silence. A true warrior walks into resistance because resistance reveals the truth. It tears away your illusions. It exposes what is hollow within you and confirms what is real. If your foundation is built on soft ground, the first earthquake will swallow you whole. If your soul has never been tested, even a life of comfort will become a poison. Train not for the prize at the end. Train for the sake of the repetition itself. Train to stay in the fire without flinching, because every easy victory is a stolen opportunity, an opportunity to grow, to suffer, to sharpen your edge, to step into the version of yourself that cannot be seduced by the promise of comfort. If you win without a cost, you remain untested, and an untested blade can never be trusted in a real war. So keep going, not because it is easy, but because it is right, because it is real, because it is yours. No borrowed paths, no stolen strength, only the quiet, brutal clarity of your own effort repeated until it becomes who you are. Until you are no longer chasing victory because you are the embodiment of it. Do not envy the man who wins without scars. He has not walked through the fire. He has not faced the long night. The ones who have never bled have never learned how to endure. And the ones who have never lost have never found the strength to rise again. Hardship is the forge. It melts away what is false and hardens what is real. Pain is not your enemy. Comfort is. Pain clarifies. Comfort clouds. When you suffer with discipline, you strip away the useless layers of your ego. You burn through the weakness that hides in your habits. And you stand there naked and trembling, but for the first time, unafraid. Do not mistake stillness for peace. Peace without a preceding battle is hollow. Peace without strength is a delusion. You must train your heart to keep beating even when love has gone. You must train your mind to stay clear even when fear is screaming in your ear. There will be days when every part of you whispers, rest. But those are the days you must rise harder. Because victory is not a finish line you cross, it is a posture, a discipline, a way of walking through this world with eyes that have been sharpened by suffering and steps that are guided by purpose. The world will tempt you with shortcuts. Let the others take them, you will stay the path. There are men who smile without conviction, who speak of greatness but have never known hunger, never carried solitude like a blade at their side. Their victories are built on cushions, yours must be built on solid stone. They are laughing now. Let them. For they have never had to stand before the mirror of their own failures and hold that stare. But you were not born to drift. You were born to withstand the fire and still walk forward, not once, not sometimes, but every single time life dares to push you back. If your mind craves ease, you must command it to do otherwise. If your hands tremble from the repetition, you must tighten your grip and repeat it again. For the warrior does not ask how long the mountain will take to climb. He takes the first step, and in doing so becomes the man who climbs mountains. You are not here to collect trinkets of gold. You are here to collect fire. You are not here to be praised. You are here to become unshakable. So bury your comfort, sharpen your blade, and let your scars tell the story of a man who refused to kneel when the world was begging him to fold. The enemy is not always on the outside. It waits in the silence, in the comfort, in the approval, in the small round of applause for a half-finished task. It waits for you when you hit the snooze button, when you choose to scroll instead of rise, when you settle for good enough. That is when you truly lose. Not in the heat of war, but in the quiet decay of your own discipline. Because victory is not a moment, it's a rhythm. It's what you practice in private when no one is there to watch, when your body is screaming and your spirit whispers, "Again." This is the road. It is not paved with applause, but with repetition, resistance, and the heavy weight of your own purpose. The warrior becomes iron by walking through fire without needing a reason, other than the simple, powerful command, "I must." He does not chase pleasure. He endures storms. He sharpens his soul against the abrasive edge of pain and builds a fortress of silence inside the surrounding chaos. He prepares not for the easy win, but for the war that will never end. Because mastery has no summit, and a man who is truly dangerous is the one who finds a way to grow stronger without needing a reward. There is a kind of man who does not wait for motivation, who does not look to the horizon for a sign, a cheer, or a reason to begin. He moves not because it feels good, but because the path demands it, because the mission does not pause for his emotions. He knows that pleasure is a thief in disguise. It offers you a soft pillow tonight while it sharpens the blade of your regret for tomorrow. It tells you that you deserve rest, when what your soul is crying for is strength. The world has lied to you. It whispered that success is ease, that comfort is the ultimate goal, that loving yourself means indulging your every whim. But warriors do not indulge. They endure. They do not bathe in praise. They stand in solitude, holding the heavy weight of their own standard. Easy victories are illusions. Quick highs, momentary applause, hollow peaks with no foundation. But the ones who train in darkness, who sweat when no one sees, who build while others are resting, they are the ones who forge something eternal. They do not break. They do not fade. Because they have found the truth not in reaching the summit, but in the ascent itself. And the man who finds his joy in the climb can never be conquered. There is a quiet war raging beneath your skin, not one of swords and shields, but one of choices and conviction. Every morning you stand at a crossroads, the path of discipline or the path of decay. Will you rise into the flame, or will you slip back into the softness? Most men do not fall in a great battle. They fall in their beds, in the comfort of their habits, in the warmth of their routines, in the numbness of their distractions, in the daily quiet death of their own purpose. They allow comfort to rot their spirit. They mistake pleasure for progress. They collect trophies but never truly face themselves. But you are not most men. Because you understand that a life without resistance is a slow suicide, you train not because it is enjoyable, but because it is essential. You fast not to impress, but to remember what real hunger feels like. You choose silence not because it is easy, but because it reveals what the noise hides. You reject praise because you know it softens the very edge of your discipline. You choose the long road because mastery can never be rushed. And when you fall, because you will fall, you do not curse the path. You tighten your grip. You rise again, stronger, sharper, more dangerous than before. Because the warrior understands that every scar is a scripture, every failure is a forge, and every hard-earned inch of ground is worth more than a mile that was handed to you in comfort. Victory is not in the outcome. It is in the act of never giving in. Steel does not get sharp in warm water. It hardens in the flame, and so must you. Each time you delay your gratification, each time you walk away from the easy path, each time you resist the siren song of softness, you become less like the world and more like a weapon. People will not understand you. They will call it obsession, madness, unnecessary suffering. But you will see it for what it is. Liberation. Liberation from the prison of comfort and the need for their approval. You are not here to be liked. You are not here to be understood. You are here to become that which few men dare to become, a man who cannot be bent by temptation or broken by ease. Pleasure will whisper to you. It will take many forms. Distractions disguised as rest, validation disguised as love, laziness disguised as self-care. But you know the truth. Ease is the enemy of excellence. You will take no pride in victories earned without resistance. You will find no joy in rewards that cost you nothing. You will not chase applause. You will not need praise. You will be a silent storm, felt more than you are heard. For the man who walks the path of mastery knows that the highest pleasure is not comfort, but conquest. And the greatest conquest is not over other men, but over the weakness that resides within you. You were not born to kneel in safety. You were not carved by time only to vanish into softness. You were born for the fire. The battlefield is not out there. It lives in your habits, in your hesitation, in your hunger for what is easy. And if you do not wage war against it every single day, you will lose everything. One day, death will come for you without mercy and without delay. And when it arrives, what will it find? A man who bent every time the wind blew, or a man who stood like a mountain, scarred and weathered but unshaken. There is no comfort in that final hour, only the weight of how you chose to live. So live as if your bones were forged for storms. Rise before the world begins to stir. Train while others are sleeping. Bleed where others would break. Do not seek praise, do not seek rest. Do not seek peace before your war is won. This path was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be worthy. When you walk into the fire, do not flinch. When you come face to face with your weakness, do not turn away. Every scar is a seal of your commitment. Every sacrifice is a step forward. Every battle is a sharpening. And when the world tries to soften you, you will stand harder. When it offers you comfort, you will walk past it. And when they ask you why you endure so much pain for no visible reward, you will look them in the eye and say, "Because I do not seek pleasure in easy victories."